I'm going to be reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 9 to 12. Hopefully I can cover the book of Isaiah tonight as well, instead of waiting until tomorrow. Y'all willing. Let's see. That's not a good sign. Me yawning. The book of Genesis, chapter 9, verse 1. And Elohim blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. So the Most High not only said this to Noah, but he said this to Noah and his sons. Be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. Verse 2. And the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the heavens, on all that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they have been given. So the fear of us and the dread of us is on every beast. Every beast fears us and dreads us. You may see a beast that feels like he's like wanting to attack, but he's really more so trying to defend himself before you attack him. He's attacking out of fear. He's not attacking out of, you being scared. That beast is most likely attacking out of them being scared. So because the fear, if you notice, in most beasts and most, creatures, there's fear of humans. There's fear of our presence. When we're present, they try to figure out, how to get around us, or how to, get away from us, or how to hide from us. And this is because the Most High put the fear of us and the dread of us into these beasts. He put the fear and the dread of us into these birds. He put the fear and the dread of us into these, all that creeps on the ground and the fish. Every time we show up, birds fly away. They try to get away. Whenever you see a bird is trying to get out of our way and fly away. Wherever you see a fish, they trying to get out. They trying to get away from us. You know what I mean? Same goes for beasts. You may not even see the beast because they seen you before you seen them, and they just hiding. They hiding themselves. They hide themselves. So this is showing itself to be. It's showing itself to be true to this day. What the Most High said to Noah and his sons. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 9. And what the Most High said is blessed. It says Elohim blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, not just Noah, he said to them, be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. That's the duty of all men, all men. Be fruitful and increase and fill the earth. And this is he said this to them as well. Verse 2, and the fear of you and the dread of you is on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the heavens, on all the creeps, on all that creeps on the ground, and on all the fish of the sea. Into your hand they have been given. Into your hand they have been given. So we rule over all other creatures. Even though they may be larger than us, they may be stronger than us, they may be, they may be more dangerous than we are. The Most High made it as though that we rule over them and they fear us, they dread us. And like I was saying, you may feel like it may appear like they can attack us or they're looking to attack us, but it's more so attacking us out of fear to protect themselves or protect their children, protect their their young. Verse 3, every creeping creature that lives is food for you. I have given you all as I gave the green plants. So every creeping creature that lives is food for you. So he said every creeping creature. Every creeping creature that lives is food for you. He didn't say every beast. He didn't say every beast. He said every creeping creature that lives is food for you. I have given you all as I gave the green plants. So we're talking about every creeping creature. And that may be those grasshoppers, that may be, I'm not sure, man. I'm not into eating grasshoppers, but I know that the Most High made it as though that we're able to eat those. And that those are creeping creatures. You gotta keep in context. He spoke about creeping creatures and he spoke about beasts. There's a difference between beasts and creeping creatures. And let's keep that in mind. Outside of these creeping creatures that he considered food for us, at the time, he said, I have given you all as I gave the green plants. Verse 4, but do not eat flesh with its life, its blood. This is where I was speaking about the life is in the blood, a couple weeks ago. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood. Verse 5, but only your blood for your lives I require. So he basically, we only keep our bloods. We should only have our blood in us. This is what the Most High is telling us. We should only have our blood in us. We shouldn't have no other blood in us. But do not eat flesh with its life, its blood, but only your blood for your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it. So every beast should only have their own blood, and from the hand of man. From the hand of every man's brother I require the life of man. So your life is in your blood, and you should have your own blood. You shouldn't be having anyone else's blood. Verse 6, whoever sheds man's blood, by his blood is shed. I'm sorry, whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood is shed. For in the image of Elohim has he made man. So the image is that breath of life. I believe that image is that breath of life, spirit, that what we know as oxygen, the breath of God. It's the spirit which makes up the breath of life spirit within us all, that lives off of his every breath, which, you know, scientists know as being oxygen. Verse 7, as for you, be fruitful and increase, bring forth teemingly in the earth and increase in it. I want to go more in. I want to go more in. Like, I want to go in more on as far as this blood topic, because I like last week I was explaining how, you know, I was dissecting the verse about Abel when Cain unalived Abel. The Most High said that he can hear Abel's voice, you know, crying out from him, you know, from the blood that was shed. And we see here the life is in the blood. It says, but do not eat flesh with its life, its blood. But only your blood for your lives I require. From the hand of every beast I require it. And from the hand of man. Yeah, let's see what it says in another version. We gotta get to the bottom of this if we can. This is chapter 9 in Genesis, verse 5. And surely your blood of your lives will I require. At the hand of every beast will I require it. And at the hand of man and at the hand of every man's brother will I require the life of man. And in the King James it says, every moving thing that lives shall be meat for you. So this is every moving thing in the King James. Even as the green herbs have I given you all things. But flesh with the life thereof, which is the blood thereof, shall you not eat. So there we go. You know, the life is in the blood. The life is in the blood, and we're not to have any one life, aka blood, with, you know, in our blood. That's just, you know, that's something that the Most High tells us not to do for a reason. Verse 7, as for you, be fruitful and increase, bring forth teemingly in the earth and increase in it. Verse 8, and Elohim spoke to Noah and to his sons with him, saying. So he said this to Noah and his sons. Verse 9, and I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you. Verse 10, and with every living being that is with you, of the birds, of the cattle, and of every beast of the earth with you, of all that go out of the ark, every beast of the earth. Verse 11, and I shall establish my covenant with you, and never again is all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood. Never again. Never again is all flesh. Maybe some, but never again all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood. You may have certain people, certain places cut off by the waters of the flood, but key word is never again is all flesh cut off by the waters of the flood. And never again is there a flood to destroy the earth. It may be a flood to destroy parts of the earth, but never again is there a flood to destroy the earth. Verse 12, and Elohim said, this is the sign of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living being that is with you for all generations to come. All generations to come. That means every single generation after. Verse 13, I shall set my rainbow in the cloud, and it shall be for the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. So whenever there's a rainbow, whenever we see a rainbow appear, that's the sign of the covenant between us, between the earth and the Most High. Verse 14, and it shall be when I bring a cloud over the earth that the rainbow shall be seen in the cloud. Verse 15, and I shall remember my covenant, which is between me and you, every living being of all flesh, and never again let the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. And we know that most rainbows come after the rain. And that's like the sign from the Most High, like, yeah, y'all good. Nothing to panic about. Verse 17, and Elohim said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. So that the rainbow is the sign of the covenant between the Most High and all flesh that is on earth. That he will not destroy all flesh on earth with rain, with flooding again. So whenever we see that rainbow, praise Yah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Verse 18, and the sons of Noah who went out of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. Verse 19, these three were the sons of Noah, and all the earth was overspread from them. All the earth was overspread from them. Verse 20. And Noah, a man of the soil, began and planted a vineyard. So Noah was a man of the soil. He planted crops. He knew what he was doing with, with as far as planting seeds in soil. So he planted a vineyard. Verse 21. And he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. So already we see that alcohol is in the play. This wine was in effect already. And I wonder where that knowledge came from, that knowledge of making wine came from. We're talking about Noah, Tom, in the days of Noah, not too far from the days of Cain. Y'all know how long it's been, but Noah is, he's a great grandchild, and probably greater than the great. He's the greatest of the greatest grandchild of Adam's, Adam's third son. I believe they had, and let me see. Yeah, so Sheth, as in Seth, what Adam brought forth. So this is like the great grandchild of Adam, Noah. And already they have wine. Already there's wine to drink. Already there's knowledge of wine. And how, I truly believe that knowledge of making wine came from the fallen messengers. Because Noah got right to it. It says, and he drank of the wine and was drunk, and became uncovered in his tent. So he became uncovered in his tent. Verse 22. And so we see, now before we get into verse 22, we see that there's wine and there's tents. And we know that one of the grandchildren of Seth was pretty much the people, of a people who made tents. They was known for it was known to be a people who made tents. It says in Adah Bor Yabal, he was the father of those who dwell in tents with livestock. So the dwelling in tents, these were times of people dwelling in tents. Noah, folks before Noah, dwelling in tents. And this is where Noah drank of the wine and was drunk and became uncovered in his tent. Verse 22, and Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. So Ham was the one who saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside instead of just, covering them up or covering his eyes or walking away. He exposed, well, he ultimately tried to expose his brothers to his father's nakedness. And this is where we need to be mindful, because this is what happens. This is what happened to Ham. Verse 23, so Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. But their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. So the Most High is not. Let me say it like this. It was a thing. It wasn't, it was something that we, originally didn't normalize. We're not like, this was something that wasn't, this was something that the people avoided, which was seeing their parents naked. And for the most part, we should still be in that mind state, not wanting to be exposed to our parents' nakedness. And our parents should be mindful of exposing their child to their nakedness, because what you're doing is scarring them, and they can't unsee what they seen. And you're subconsciously, you're not aware that you're sexualizing them. You're creating hypersexuals. You're creating every type of sexual, even the HOMOs, even the HOMO sexuals, and it's based on basically who's been exposed. My theory is that if it's a son being exposed to mothers or their sisters' nakedness, or anybody's nakedness, I'm gonna just stick with women's, a woman of their house nakedness, that will lead to them being hypersexual with that, with that gender. And if it's a daughter, the same, if they're exposed to their fathers, hypersexual towards that gender. Now, if it's a son exposed to father's nakedness, that may that most likely, my theory, leads to HOMO sexual. And the same goes for a woman overly exposed to their mother's nakedness, or older sisters or sisters, or any, nakedness. That leads to them, being attracted to that gender, their own gender, the females. Females attraction to another female. It's just my theory, my thought, and it stemmed from this verse, how in the book of Genesis, chapter 9, the sons of Noah, how they went about covering their naked father up. In verse 23, so Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both of their shoulders, and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. But their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. But on the other hand, Ham did. Ham was exposed to his father's nakedness. And it very well explained how Ham turned out and his children turned out. This is what happens. Verse 24, and Noah awoke from his wine, and he knew what his younger son had done to him. Whatever that means, whatever he's done, as far as like he just watching them and telling his brothers about it. If that's all he's done, even that was shameful enough to get what he's about to get. Verse 25, and he said, cursed is Canaan. Let him become a servant of servants to his brothers. So cursed is Canaan. Let him become a servant of servants to his brothers. And we're going to see who Canaan is and who his brothers are. Verse 26. And he said, blessed be Yahuwah, the Elohim of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Verse 27, let Elohim enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan become his servant. Verse 28, and Noah lived after the flood 350 years. So Canaan is servant to Shem, and Canaan is servant to Japheth. This was a curse on Canaan. This wasn't a curse on Ham himself, but more so Canaan. And Canaan became a curse, became a servant to Shem, his uncle, and Japheth, his uncle, and also his brothers, whoever Canaan's brothers are. Verse 28, we're going to find out. And Noah lived after the flood 350 years. Verse 29, so all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Chapter 10, verse 1. And this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And sons were born to them after the flood. After the flood. Verse 2, the sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Yawan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Taraz. Verse 3, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Ripha, and Tagarma. Verse 4, and the sons of Yawan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. Verse 5. From these, the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their lands, and every one according to his language, according to their clans, into their nations. So now we're speaking about language. From these, the coastland peoples of the nations were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their clans in their nations. So we're reading, this is explaining, this is the first time we're hearing the word language or seeing the word language. And separation into their own lands and clans. Verse 6. And the sons of Ham, these were the sons of Ham, Cush and Mitzrayim and Put and Canaan. So Canaan is servant to Put, Canaan is servant to Mitzrayim, Canaan is servant to Cush. Canaan is pretty much servant to all people. Verse 7. And the sons of Cush, these were the sons of Cush, Sheba and Hawilah and Sabta and Ramah and Shabteka, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba and Dedan. Verse 8. And Cush brought forth Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. So Nimrod began to become a powerful man. But notice how Cush, Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, these are what we know today as being African areas. So that's interesting, because Canaan is servant to his brothers, who are Put, Egypt, Cush, and Ham, and also his uncles Shem and Japheth. And Cush brought forth Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. Verse 9. He was a mighty hunter before Yahuwah. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahuwah. Verse 10. In the beginning of his reign was Babel. So Nimrod clearly started to rise to power and become a powerful man. In the beginning of his reign was Babel. That was the beginning of his reign. And Erech and Akkad and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Verse 11. From that land he went to Ashur and built Nineveh and Rehoboth, and Keilah. Verse 12. And Rezin between Nineveh and Keilah, the great city. Verse 13. And Mitzrayim brought forth Ludim and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Naphtuhim. Verse 14, and Pathruzim, and Kashalim, from whom came the Philistine, and Kaphtorim. So this is where the Philistines come from. Is the Pashurim, the Pathrushim, and Kasluhim, from whom came the Philistines, and Kaphtorim. Verse 15, and Canaan brought forth Zidon, his firstborn, and Heth. Verse 16, and Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgashite. Verse 17, and the Hawite, and Arkite, and the Sinite. Verse 18, and the Arwadite, and the Semirite, and the Hamathite, and afterward the clans of Canaanites were spread abroad. Verse 19, and the border of the Canaanites was from Zion, as you go forward, Gerar, as far as Azah, as you go forward, Sedom, and Amorah, and Admah, and Sebuim, as far as Lasha. Verse 20, these were the sons of Ham, according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, in their nations. Verse 21, also to Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder children were born. Verse 22, the sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Apashkad, and Lud, and Aram. Verse 23, and the sons of Aram, Utz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash. Verse 24, and Arpachshad brought forth Shelah, and Shelah brought forth Eber. Verse 25, and to Eber were brought two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for his days the earth was wicked, and his brother's name was Yoktan. Verse 30, and their dwelling place was from Mesha, as you go toward Sephar, a mountain of the east. Verse 13, these were the sons of Shem, according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. So this was clear separation. These were the sons of Shem according to their clans, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. Verse 32, there were the clans of the sons of Noah, according to their generations, in their nations, and from these the nations were divided on the earth after the flood. That was chapter 10. This is chapter 11, verse 1. And all the earth had one language and one speech. And it came to be, as they set out from the east, that they were found a plain in the land of Shinar. And they dwelt there. Verse 3. And they said to each other, come, let us make bricks and baked them thoroughly. And they had brick for a stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. Verse 14, and they said, come, let us build over ourselves. Let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose up is in the heavens, and make a name for you. Make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered over all the face of the earth. Verse 5, then Yahuwah came down to see the city and the tower which the Elohim of men had built. Verse 6, and Yahuwah said, look, they are one people, and they all have no language. No language. And this is what they begin to do. And now they are not going to be withheld from doing whatever they plan to do. Verse 17, come, let us go there and confuse their language, so that they do not understand one another's speech. So this is the Most High speaking to whoever was with him, whether it's the messengers, his set apart spirit. But again, the Most High is has done all he needs to do to scatter our people over the face of the earth. Verse 9, that is why its name was called Babel, because there Yahuwah confused the language of all the earth, and from there Yahuwah scattered them over the face of the earth. Verse 10, and this is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and brought forth Arpachshad 2 years after the flood. Verse 11, and after he brought forth Arpachshad, Shem lived 500 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 12, and Arpachshad lived 305 years and brought forth Shelah. Verse 13, and after he brought forth Shelah, Arpachshad lived 403 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 14, and Shelah lived 30 years and brought forth Eber. Verse 15, and after he brought forth Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 18, and Peleg lived 30 years and brought forth Reu. Verse 19, and after he brought forth Reu, Peleg lived 290 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 20, and Reu lived 32 years and brought forth Sharung. Verse 21, and after he brought forth Sharung, Reu lived 207 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 22, and Shelah lived 30 years and brought forth Nahar. Verse 23, and after he brought forth Nahar, Sharung lived 200 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 24, and Nahar lived 29 years and brought forth Terah. Verse 25, and after he brought forth Terah, Nabar lived 119 years and brought forth sons and daughters. Verse 26, and Terah lived 70 years and brought forth Abraham, Nahar, Haran. Verse 27, and this is the genealogy of Terah. Terah brought forth Abraham, Nahar, and Haran. And Haran brought forth Lot. Verse 28, and Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his birth in Urkasdim. Verse 29, and Abraham and Nahar took wives. The name of Abraham's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nabar's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, and the father of Milcah, and the father of Yishka. Verse 30, and Sarah was barren. She had no children. Verse 31, and Tehran took his son Abraham and his grandson Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, his son Abraham's wife, and they went out with them until Kasdim to go to the land of Canaan. And they came to Haran and dwelt there. Verse 32, and the days of Terah came to be 205 years, and Terah died in Haran. That was the book of Genesis, chapters 9 to 11. So I'm supposed to stop there. I think I got one more chapter. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I got one more chapter. Chapter 12. Chapter 12, verse 1. And Yahuwah said to Abraham, go yourself out of your land, from your relatives, and from your father's house, to a land which I show you. So he's speaking to Abraham, who was known as Abram at the time, or at least in this text. Verse 2, and I shall make you a great nation, and bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. Verse 3, and I shall bless those who bless you, and curse him who curses you, and in you all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Verse 4, so Abraham left as Yahuwah had commanded him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. Verse 5, and Abram took Sarai, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the beings whom they had acquired in Haran, and they set out for the land of Canaan, and they came to the land of Canaan. Verse 6, and Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem, as far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. At that time, the Canaanites were in the land. So these Canaanites, we want to see that these are accursed people who are pretty much ruled by everybody. See what they about to get into. Verse 7, and Yahuwah appeared to Abram and said, to your seed I give this land. And he built there a slaughter place to Yahuwah, who had appeared to him. Here's the slaughter place. Here's the documentation. Here's where, the slaughter place was documented of being created. Verse 8, and from there moved to the more he moved to the mountain east of El, Bethel, and he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And he built there a slaughter place to Yahuwah and called on the name of Yahuwah. So he built the slaughter place and called on the name of Yahuwah. Verse 9, and Abram set out, continuing toward the south. Verse 10, and the scarcity of food came to be in the land. And Abraham went down to Mizraim to dwell there, for the scarcity of food was severe in the land. And it came to be when he was close to entertaining Mizraim that he said to Sarai, his wife, see, I know that you are a beautiful woman to look at. Verse 12, and it shall be when Mizraites see you that they shall say, this is his wife, and they shall kill me, but let you live. Verse 33, please say you are my sister, so that it shall be well with me for your sake, and my life be spared because of you. So he's asking Sarah to claim that she's his sister. So it won't be no smoke. It won't be no one trying to get rid of him in order to have her. Verse 14, and it came to be when Abram came into Mizraim that the Mizraites saw the woman, that she was very beautiful. Verse 15, and Pharaoh's officials saw her and praised her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. Verse 16, and he treated Abram well for her sake, and he had sheep and cattle and male donkeys and male and female servants and female donkeys and camels. Verse 17, but Yahuwah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abraham's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this you have done to me? Why did you not inform me that she was your wife? Verse 19, why did you say she is my sister? And so I was going to take her for my wife. Look, here is your wife. Take her and go. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. So all that he had, we see that he got. All that Abraham had, we see that he obtained from leaving. He left Haran with it. And also, it says, and he treated Abraham well for her sake. And he had sheep and cattle and male donkeys and male and female servants. This is what Abraham acquired because Pharaoh took a liking to his wife. Female donkeys and camels. Servants. Female and male servants. Female and male servants and male donkeys. Excuse me. But Yahuwah plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarah. So this is after he took care of Abram, he got his house plagued. To the point Pharaoh like, yo, what did you do to me? Why didn't you tell me this was your wife? It took the Most High to plague my house for me to figure it out. And that completes the chapter 12 of the book of Genesis. That was Shabbat's reading for the night. The book of Genesis, chapter 9 to 12. Y'all willing, we'll be able to pick it up tomorrow early, around 11 a.m. I'm hoping y'all willing. I'm gonna set my alarm so we can, I can assure that I do so. Until then, Shabbat Shalom, peace and love. Peace, love, Shabbat Shalom.